Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the 9 of discs. And that has everything to do with gain. So definitely a wonderful energy to have. Okay, and let's go ahead. We're going to take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you'd like to like the video, comment, or subscribe, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. Especially if you're new to the channel, definitely shout that out in the comment section. Okay. So it looks like we have M-E, so maybe me, but it could also be initials or what is M-E? Is that Maryland? I always mix up Maryland and Michigan. I think Michigan's M-I. I don't know. But it could be initials. It could be, something along these lines. But also it could be me. All right, let's see. So we have a person here standing. They're holding, it looks like a big bouquet of flowers. Now, strangely, we have also a toilet over here. And immediately seeing this, and this is going to sound really strange, but I almost kind of get this feeling that you've been in a relationship or kind of a on again, off again thing where every time something like goes wrong or there's some kind of falling out or whatever, and this person comes running back to you or is trying to kind of mitigate some of the fallout, right? And they're giving you flowers, they're saying I'm sorry, they're crying, they're whatever. And it's getting to the point for you where it's kind of like, I might as well just throw your sorries in the dang toilet, because I really get this feeling that their word doesn't mean that much to you anymore. Like you've heard it a million times. And this leads me to believe that this could be romantic, but it might be one of your children, right? And I wonder if they're maybe older. Okay. And they're maybe still learning about being a person. Maybe they're a teenager or a young adult or whatever. But I do feel like it's just a sense of weariness here. A sense of like, I'm not buying into this any longer. Like you're not going to manipulate me into going along with whatever this is, right? Whatever you're buttering me up for, not gonna happen. Okay. So I do feel like you are putting up some boundaries. This is the big work right now, is setting boundaries and keeping to them. Okay. Now I look over here and it looks like we have a person who is, kind of upset. They have their hands over their head, like they're about to throw something. You can see the head here. Here's the body, hands up overhead, and they have something up here like they're going to toss it. Okay? And so I feel like as this situation is playing out, there are going to be, these moments of tantrum, of kind of a meltdown, of, just not getting their way. And, especially if this is in a relationship, I just, I think most of us at some point have, dated or courted or even been married to, right? Somebody who might be prone to these kinds of outbursts. And, you know, you can only really deal with that for so long. And I just see you kind of getting to your point where it's like, this isn't how I want my life to be. I saw the other day this meme. I know a lot of a lot of things that stick with me are these memes that I see. But it was less of a meme and more of just kind of like two pictures with like something written on it. And one of them said, the first picture said, something I want in my future, or no, something I do not want in my future house. Something I do not want in my future house. And next to it, it said, an angry man. Now, it doesn't have to be just a man, right? It could be angry woman, angry child, angry dog, you know, whatever. But I feel like this really, it's that energy. I do not want to put up with anybody else's anger anymore. I don't want that in my personal space. I don't want that in my temple, my sanctuary, the place that I go to breathe, to recharge, to be safe. To have that kind of energy in there, I don't want it. You can keep it. And I can love you and I can hope the best for you, but do not bring that into my home. Do not bring that into my private world. Okay, we all have our moments once in a while. I mean, I'll even admit, lately, I've been going through it. I don't know exactly what it is, but I feel like I'm going through a real kind of shedding, emotional purge. I feel like I'm going into like a new part of my life. And there's been a lot. I've been, I think, very emotional, very temperamental at times, and just kind of, I have CPTSD, so I dissociate at times, right? Where I'm just kind of staring off. I'm like in a different place, right? Which honestly, for somebody who, does scrying and psychic work and, I wouldn't say psychic work, but it is within the psychic realm, right? That's actually a place that I don't always mind going, because I find a lot of space there to kind of explore the realms of my mind and so on. But that is to say that we all have our times. We all have our moments, right? Where we're going through something, we might be a little more sensitive. We might be a little more prone to crying or anger or just not knowing how to like begin, right? Have you ever gone through a period of time where it's a lot of emotional stuff and you just don't even know how to begin to clean your kitchen? It's like, I don't know. I'm so stressed out. I don't know what do I do here, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. This is somebody that has a long kind of history of this kind of behavior, I think. And maybe it's something that they're growing out of. Maybe it's something that, you got to face the real world for a little while and see what it's like outside of the safe space where you can behave however you wish. I don't know. But I think that this is something where you're getting really tired of it and it's not welcome anymore. And so the beginning of building, these boundaries, not easy. And you might even feel pretty guilty about it. But I think that that it's time. It's time to put yourself first, your peace first. Okay? Now, I want to continue. And I want to just say this. I did notice the other day I lost my ring. I've lost some weight recently, and my ring just disappeared. So I just want, somebody mentioned it in one of the readings. I have not taken it off on purpose. I just want you to know that. Some of you know my husband, right, over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, and I just want to make that clear. As I was talking about me going through something, it's not that. It's my ring fell off. I've lost a bit of weight here. And so I didn't even notice. I was like, whoa, where's my ring at? I haven't found it. Thankfully, it's just like, you know, a band or whatever is pretty cheap. So I can replace it. But I'm like, okay, let me just clarify here. Okay, so we have me. And that's, you know, maybe it is that this is really about you right now. You know, you're finally taking some time to really look at what you need, right? I think so often, you know, for Capricorn people, you exist a lot in your work, right? It's about really like building something lasting, building something that you can believe in, something that is meaningful to you, and you're really good at that, okay? You're not always the best. And I say this as I'm an ascendant Capricorn, so I know what's up, right? You're not always the best at prioritizing your comfort, okay? I think that it's not that you're like somebody who is a pushover or you let people walk all over you, but I think that you are very considerate of other people. I think that you really try to allow space for people to, you know, feel how they feel, to express themselves. I don't think that you like to be in a place where you feel like you're oppressing somebody or not allowing them to really just say what they feel and you know, be whatever. But then there are situations where it's like, this is really starting to affect me. This is really starting to, wear on you, okay? And I think, with this situation, it's important. It is important for you to put yourself first. And if you hurt feelings, okay, that, you know, you can say you're sorry, but, right, you have to prioritize your own well-being. And I think that you will do that here. And so I feel like this is where we begin to see this gain, okay? I'm hitting the wrong thing. The gain over here. Now I'm looking at this. I see a really large flower. Also, I see the number 37. I see somebody outside kind of releasing maybe a prayer, an intention. We have a bird over here that's flying. It looks like it's probably a dove. So I do see you kind of maybe making some distance, right? Getting some distance from this person and their volatility and allowing yourself to have some peace and kind of just do the things that, you know, bring some ease to your heart. And if that is kind of going walking and looking at flowers or, you know, sitting and having a nice cup of tea on the balcony or, you know, going out at 3 a.m. and howling at the moon and saying prayers and talking to the goddess and, you know, whatever it is, whatever it looks like for you. I see you really allowing yourself to indulge in these things. And, you know, I don't know. For me, I've been doing ritual and ceremony and magical work for many years. I mean, probably most of my life. I think I look back on my childhood and I was like, yeah, I was out there doing, you know, out in the woods by myself, just being like a little magical practitioner in training. I didn't even know what I was doing, right? But there are still plenty of times where I begin a ritual, or I am thinking of, this is maybe something new I'd like to try. And I get in there and I start to feel really self-conscious about it. I start to feel like, oh, this is kind of like role playing, or like, I don't know, it feels kind of strange. I don't know. But I stick with it. Right? I just kind of continue to go in, and then there is often, not always, but often a moment where you surpass that first doorway, right? And you go into the temple, you go into the ritual, and it begins to take hold. You begin to get into that place of flow. And so I implore you, if you are somebody who partakes in, any prayer, or maybe you go and light votive candles, or leave offerings, or keep an altar, or, whatever it is, I implore you to allow yourself to explore a bit. And try some things that maybe it feels weird to get up late at night and go outside into the backyard and, and say your prayers and, I don't know, do your rosary or whatever. It might feel strange to be beneath the moon, or, in a space outside late at night. But, and I'm not saying that's exactly what you need to do, but just as an example. But I think that sometimes we need to just kind of allow ourselves to, look a little silly. Do something that feels a little strange within reason, right? Stay in your comfort zone, of course. But I think that this is a time for you to kind of, if you can imagine your heart having a little window, opening that window and letting that bird fly, letting it soar, letting that peace really kind of emanate from you so that you may receive it. And that's the thing, right? We let it go, it comes back to us. So I want to look over here real quick. We have a large W. We have a bird in migration. We also have a fire symbol. So it feels to me as you were coming into this place of like lessening your stress, having these boundaries put in place, having a moment of quiet. And I think that's the big thing, a moment where you can think straight. And your mind goes soaring. Your heart is aflame. I always think of this kind of like the anxiety, the stress, the feeling overwhelmed. And it's kind of like, for me, summer, that's like this whole like kind of hypomania. Like, I got to get so much done. I got so much to do. I got to be going. I don't want to waste one moment of nice weather. And then the fall comes, the autumn comes. And those first days where you can smell it and you can feel that cold air in the morning, the frost will be here soon. Then the snow, and the ground's gonna freeze, and it's gonna be so cold, and the air will smell so clean. And I get that first smell of autumn, and finally I can breathe. I didn't even realize I've been so wound up for so many months, in a row. And finally I feel like, okay, that's it. I can breathe. I can take comfort. I can begin to slow down. Okay? And I feel like this is where you are getting to. This place where you can just allow yourself to have some space to think, to feel, to be inspired, to notice something beyond the situation that's going on right here, right now. I see you contemplating and exploring the vastness of your mind, of your imagination. And I see this as a time of some quickening, right? And we have that fire symbol, so we have that energy of passion, of being animated and alive and just robust, full of life. And I see that for you. So now I want to take a look. We're going to look at our Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And this is usually I use them as a clarifier, but I kind of just want to see, like, where's this next few days, the next week going to lead us, okay? And I'm going to probably do 3, maybe 6 cards. So we'll go through, we'll see. What's going on? What is the energy? So we have convention, which makes sense for a Capricorn. That actually feels pretty good, pretty safe. Okay, criticism. And detachment. Okay, so maybe this is part of the argument, right? You have somebody younger, maybe it's, like I said, your kid or something, and you're so conventional, mom. You're such a, what do they call them, boomers or whatever? You're such a boomer. Whatever, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know about the world. Like, you're young, you think you know everything. And I think that, yeah, there is maybe some criticism, maybe about your worldviews, your beliefs, the way that you live, whatever, right? And listen, it's not all bad, okay? Some of the stuff the younger kids, I am such a believer in the younger generations. They are so smart. They are so smart, so talented, so creative. I mean, when I read things about how awful, I don't know, what are they, Generation Z or Zillennial? I don't know what they're called. The ones younger than me, right? And then even younger, I don't know. I think my daughter's generation's called like Generation Alpha or whatever. But all these kids, they're amazing. They astound me, right? They're working off a whole other framework than we are, right? And so some of the criticisms I don't understand because they're living in the future, okay? Basically. Some of the other stuff though, yeah, we all have room to learn, right? There's a lot of stuff that I thought was like, yeah, we're normal, that's how I grew up, whatever. And I'm learning not normal, not, just because we collectively all said it, did it, whatever, doesn't mean it's a good thing, right? So taking it as much as we, trying to be as productive with some of the criticism, but not to the point where it's just like they're attacking you. And I think that's what ends up happening a lot of times. It's like this age, I don't know, like, there's just like we grew up in different worlds, and it's hard. It's hard to really sometimes get on the same page. And now, I think for you, the detachment, finding some peace and quiet, okay? Not feeling like I know it's not a bad phrase, but I cannot stand it when somebody says, this is a teachable moment. It seems very condescending sometimes. But yeah, I think it's like, okay, so we can have so many teachable moments and then let it be for a while. And I think that, maybe this is part of why you're at odds. But I think just a little bit of space, putting up those boundaries, Now, I want to do 2 more. I just want to kind of see, because, oh no, submission. No, no, no. Egotism and extremism. Okay. Yeah. So I feel, yes. I don't know. A lot of this energy, it has to do, I think, with, well, the state of the world, right? And the things that we're talking about. We're in America anyways. I know it's different, obviously, everywhere. But in America, we're in an election year, which has just become the worst, right? It's like you try to forget it as soon as it's over. But I do feel like maybe this younger person, you know, they're young. They're still in their ego, greatly in their ego. And they think that they know everything about everything. And they do. They want you to submit. But I think that, you know, at times it gets to a point of them being a bit extreme. Okay? And, you know, it's like one thing if people are online and they're kind of getting real opinionated about things and, you know, expressing themselves and, yeah, maybe there's a lot of divisiveness and all of that. But then to bring it into the real world and to be like fighting with your family and attacking your parents and, you know, all of that, I don't know. It's just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see these kinds of things go on in families. And so I do feel like it's kind of like you just gotta ride it out a little bit and take, you know, I guess like just really for me, and this is my move really, is just I kind of excuse myself from all of it. You know, I'm not engaging in that kind of stuff with anybody, period, you know, and kind of go into hiding, like just leave social media. I've been off of social media for a few months now, and I will not be back until I don't even know when. I'm just tired of it, you know. Of course, I'm here on YouTube, but you all are a very special group of people. And, you know, for the most part, which is wonderful about having the channel, is that I interact with people that are just doing amazing things and thinking about amazing things and talking about amazing things. And that's the energy I want to be in, right? I don't want to be cutting each other down all day, arguing and whatever. So I feel like, you know, sometimes we just have to take our reprieve from it. Need a little respite from all of that. I need a drink here. My goodness. A little sip of my water over here. Okay. What are we doing next? Oh, yes. Let's do our lucky numbers. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pick 3. We have number 5. Number 5. Number 27. 527. Oh, 44. Ooh, that's a real lucky one. 44. All right. So we have our lucky numbers. Now we're just going to end with our oracle cards. These are the inner child oracle cards. And I like to pick an oracle card at the end because it kind of just like punctuates the whole reading. I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. Look at this. 44. Oh my gosh. Look, they called it out and then it knew. All right, here we go. You know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. Absolutely. There we go. I'm all smiles now. That's such a confirmation. I love that. All right, so Capricorn, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you and spend this time with you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you want to subscribe, yes, definitely do that. Hit the little bell button thing. When you do, it'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. Also, if you, what's the other one? Oh yes, if you want to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. I was just thinking, my brain went off to this way real quick. I was just talking to my sister before I started recording, and she was telling me that Verizon cell service isn't working. So I was like okay. So I don't know. I don't even know why I'm thinking about that. But yes, I gotta go check the newses, I guess. So I don't know. I'm always missing things. It's like whenever one of the websites are down, like Facebook or something, I'll like read about it 2 days later. I'm like, oh shoot, it was down. Nobody calls me. So I don't know if it's on or not. So anyways, I want to tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk soon. Good night, good night, good night.